What's going on, guys? Welcome to my channel and welcome to a new series of Subscriber Sundays. This is a series all about you, where you choose a recipe and I'll make it for you. This video is a whole roasted duck with a sweet sauce chosen by Alvin Govender, and I really hope I'm saying that right, and I'm sorry if I'm not. And he also mentioned that it's his birthday this month, so happy birthday to you. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy.
To start this off, let's preheat your oven to 150 degrees Celsius or 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Get yourself a 2.2 kilogram or 4.8 pound duck. Using some paper towel, pat the duck dry, and doing this will help us achieve a crispy skin. Alternatively, if you have plenty of time, you can place the duck in the fridge overnight, uncovered, to air dry. If we were to leave excess moisture on the duck, it will steam in the oven, leaving us with a soggy and not crisp skin. Once dry, on the breast side, very gently score the skin, making sure not to penetrate the meat. This will allow airflow to get under the skin, making it nice and crisp. If we were to penetrate the meat, the moisture that will come out of that will cause the duck to steam, which will also affect our crispiness. And when that's done, slice across on the opposite angle to create a crisscross pattern. Place your duck breast side up onto an oven tray fitted with a wire rack. This will allow even airflow around the duck, and also ducks are very fatty birds and will release a lot of their rendered fat, and we don't want the duck to sit in that. Season the duck with 1.5 teaspoons or 7 grams of sea salt flakes, and hit it with 1 teaspoon or 2 grams of cracked black pepper. Both seasonings are a guideline for you, but always season to your taste. Firmly push the seasoning into the skin. This will not only add flavour to the duck, but it will also help crisp up the skin. We're then going to place our prepared duck into our preheated oven and roast for 50 minutes. In the meantime, to make the plum sauce, here is 400 grams or 14 ounces of plums that have been soaked in juices. Preferably use fresh, but unfortunately in Australia at the moment it's not plum season. Place the plums into a sieve and rinse them under cold water to remove any excess sweetness from the juice. If you're using fresh, still do the same just to make sure that they're clean. Shake off any excess water and place them on your chopping board. Slice them slightly off center to reveal the stone. Remove the stone and discard. Give the plums a rough chop and place them into a small saucepan. Then with 2 cloves of garlic, give them a rough chop, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And add that into the saucepan with the plums. With 1 small or half of a large brown onion, slice off both ends. Slice the onion in half. Remove the skin, and yes, you know it, save it for a stock. Slice the onion into quarters, rotate, and roughly chop. And add that into the saucepan. Then with a 2 cm piece of ginger weighing 24 grams or 0.8 ounces, using a spoon, we're just going to peel it. Peeling it with a spoon greatly reduces wastage, rather than when we're using a regular peeler, it mainly just peels off the flesh. Place the ginger scraps into a compost bin, and then very carefully grate your ginger on the larger side of your grater. Just make sure that we don't get any fingers in our plum sauce. Once done, add that to the saucepan. With 1 long red chilli, which is optional, slice off the stem and discard. Slice the chilli in half lengthways, and using a paring knife, remove the pith and the seeds. If there are any seeds left in it, just scrape them out. Give the chilli a rough chop. And add it to the saucepan. You can add the whole lot if you like it spicy, or you can just add as much as you'd like. It's completely up to you. Grate in the zest of 1 orange for that citrusy background flavour, as well as half a cup or 100 grams of brown sugar, half a cup or 125 milliliters of apple cider vinegar, 1/4 of a cup or 60 milliliters of dark soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of honey, and 1 teaspoon of sea salt flakes. Place the saucepan onto your stovetop over a medium heat, give all of those flavours a mix, and bring the mixture to a boil. Once boiling, reduce the heat to low and allow to simmer for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes and all of the ingredients have broken down and released their flavour, add in 1 teaspoon of Chinese 5-spice powder. Give that a mix through, and the flavours that will add are absolutely incredible. Place in an immersion blender and pulse until really smooth. And alternatively, this can be cooled down and pulsed in a food processor. Once smooth, remove the immersion blender, place the saucepan back onto a low heat, and simmer the sauce for 12 minutes or until it's reduced and thick. Then after 12 minutes, we have a really good looking, thick and rich sauce. Turn it off the heat and allow it to cool down. After 1 hour, our duck is starting to release its fat and get some really nice colour onto it. Place a pair of tongs into its cavity and carefully flip the duck over. Also, try not to get your tongs stuck like I did here. Place the duck back into the oven and roast for another 50 minutes. Now let's take this recipe to the next level by making some steamed pancakes. In a large mixing bowl, add in 2 cups or 240 grams of plain all-purpose flour, 3 tablespoons or 44 milliliters of vegetable oil, half a teaspoon of sea salt flakes, and 1 cup or 250 milliliters of boiling water straight from the kettle. Don't mix this around with your hands because of the boiling water. Instead, fold all of the ingredients together with a wooden spoon or spatula until it's all together and has formed a dough. Once that's done, allow this to cool down for 5 minutes. Lightly dust your workbench with a small amount of plain flour and put down your dough. Dust the dough with a small amount of flour. Then using the palm of your hands, push through the dough and fold it back on itself, repeating this kneading process for 2 to 3 minutes or until the dough is nice and smooth. If the dough does get really sticky, just add a small amount of flour. We do want it to be slightly sticky but not dry. Once you have your nice smooth dough, fold the sides under the dough to make it really smooth. Slap it in a bowl, cover it with a tea towel and allow it to rest for 30 minutes. This will allow the gluten to relax, making it easier for us to roll. After the second 50-minute period, remove your duck from the oven and same again, flip the duck over, and you'll notice now that this is starting to colour really well. We're going to place this back into the oven for a further 40 minutes. Just before your dough is finished resting, place a saucepan filled 1/4 full of water onto your stovetop, place it onto a high heat and bring it to a boil. Remove the towel from the dough. It's a good idea to weigh your dough and divide the whole amount by 18 so that we can get 18 exactly the same size pieces. Using your fingers, roll each piece in a circular motion, slowly moving it into the palm of your hand, using your thumb and little finger as a border until you achieve a smooth dough ball. Very lightly dust your bench with plain flour. Pop down your dough ball, give that a light dusting too. Then roll these out to around 18 to 20 centimeters, making sure they are nice and thin. Place a steamer over the boiling water, making sure that it's not touching the water. Put in a piece of parchment paper cut to the size of your steamer, and very carefully place in your rolled dough. Don't worry too much about the first pancake, as this is going to be used to protect all the others from overcooking. Just make sure that it's completely covering the bottom of the steamer. Place on a lid and steam for 1 minute. Whilst that's steaming, continue rolling out the pancakes. And after 1 minute, place in another pancake on top of the first pancake. Place on the lid after each time you add another pancake and cook for 1 minute, repeating the whole process until you have all 18 pancakes steamed. After steaming the last pancake for 1 minute, remove the lid, turn the heat off and remove the steamer. Place the whole steamer over a wire rack and allow it to cool down for 10 to 15 minutes. Once cooled, carefully remove them from the steamer. Peel off the parchment paper. Carefully pull them apart. And there we have our steamed pancakes. After 40 minutes, remove your duck from the oven and increase the oven temperature to 190 degrees Celsius or 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Carefully remove the duck from the oven tray, and we're then left with all of this awesome fat. Place a sieve over a jar or a bowl and pour through the duck fat, removing any solid fats. Leave this to cool down, then store this in your fridge for up to 4 months. This fat right here is perfect for roasting and frying vegetables, especially potatoes. Return the duck back to the oven tray, then with our delicious plum sauce, brush over 3 tablespoons worth, completely coating the top of the duck, and make sure to get in between the wings and the legs. Now our duck is fully coated in the sauce. Place it into your increased temperature oven and roast for 10 to 12 minutes until the skin is crispy and deeply golden brown. To fill the pancakes, remove both ends of a cucumber and save the ends for compost. Slice the cucumber in half, then into quarters lengthways. Slice it into thin strips. Rotate at 90 degrees and slice them in half, creating nice little pieces. With 3 spring onions or scallions, slice off the green stems, leaving the root ends for another dish or stock. Slice off any scabby ends and save them for a stock too. We're then going to slice the stems on a slight angle, creating nice oval shaped pieces. After 10 minutes, just look at that. This looks and smells so good. We're then going to cover it with some tin foil and allow it to rest for 10 minutes. This will redistribute the moisture and lock it all in. Once it's rested, remove the foil. Place it onto your chopping board. And with 2 forks, pull and shred all of that delicious and juicy meat off the bone. And I will admit, this is quite tedious, but it's so worth it. Once it's all removed, you're left with this beautiful and delicious duck meat and a fantastic crispy skin. With the carcass, I wish I could say the famous line of save it for a stock, but because it has the plum sauce all over it, I'm just going to get rid of it. To assemble this dish, lay out the pancakes, brush on 1 tablespoon's worth of the plum sauce, lay down some strips of cucumber, place on that delicious duck meat and crispy skin, add some spring onions or scallions, and gently roll it up. These look so good. Let's see how they taste. That is seriously amazing. You've got that juicy and crispy skinned duck, the homemade pancakes, and that plum sauce is absolutely incredible. This is seriously the perfect meal. The duck will last 4 days in your fridge, and it can also be frozen for up to 4 months. I will say that when you place it in the fridge, it will slightly dry out, but to reheat, place it in a pan over a medium heat, and add in 2 to 3 tablespoons of the plum sauce to juice it back up and increase the flavour. With the plum sauce, store it in the fridge and it will last up to 2 weeks. And last but not least, the pancakes can be stored in the fridge for up to 4 days, and they can also be frozen for 2 months. To reheat them, either use a microwave for 15 to 20 seconds, or place them into a warm pan for 20 seconds on each side. I really hope you enjoyed the first episode of this Subscriber Sunday series. If you did, make sure you smash that like button, and if you're new around here, consider subscribing to become a part of the channel and get involved with things like this. Once again, shout out to Alvin Govender for requesting this recipe, and happy birthday to you. Thanks for watching guys, stay safe and enjoy.